In order to understand Redux, we firstly need to understand why we need it. What problems Redux help us to overcome? Let's take a typical React application as example. In React, you have a main component and some child components. You set some initial state, and you also decide when and if that state should change based on some events happening in your app. And will automatically update the UI accordingly. Eventually, you can make the state available to child components by passing it as a props. So far so good. If your application is really simple, such as a to-do app, then you can use this pattern without issues. But mostly of the time, even a small application is made by a number of sibling components, and each one with its own child components. So you end up having many different pieces of state here and there. And what happens if at a certain point you realize that you need some props to be available to a non-child component? In theory, you could pass your props up and then down to the child you need, but this is an anti-pattern workaround in React, and for a very good reason. You will write more code, which will be hard to maintain and most likely will lead you to bugs that will be hard to root cause. Now, wouldn't it be much better to have an application state where all our pieces of state are maintained? Well, you got it. This is exactly what Redux is for. You create and manage your entire application state in one place, called Store in Redux. And any of your components can access to it and grab any data as props. The nice thing about Redux is that if you need, you can still create and manage some state in your components out of Redux. For instance, because you want to reuse an old component.